What's going on, all of you amazing folks? This is a Roaming Prepper channel. I'm your host, Pete, and today we're going to do our situation report like I do every week. For those of you who are newer to the channel, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I've had a lot of new people show up lately, and it's nice to know the message gets out. The way the situation report works, if you're not familiar with it, is I go by regions of the world, starting with Africa in alphabetical order, and basically go around the planet, and then countries also in alphabetical order. Now, what I'm reading from is an internally released corporate and government, how should I say, compilation of information, but a lot of it comes from publicly available sources. So where it's relevant or possible, I'll tell you this was from, Fox News, CNN, whatever happens to be the source. So no further ado, I'll get started. So Africa, Nigeria's ruling party endorses Tinubu for 2027 election. Nigeria's ruling All Progressives Congress has endorsed President Bola Tinubu, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, to run for a second and final term in office. The announcement came Thursday during the party's summit in Abuja, marking the second anniversary of Tinubu's presidency. So now Nigeria is pretty important because it is on the coast. It is a trading partner with the U.S. Also has prolific oil and gas and mineral resources. They've been relatively stable. They do have a major crime issue in some of the cities, but a lot of the emerging economies, that's just the way it is. Good news there is that they acknowledge that it is his his last term in office. And this came from Africa News. For South Africa, this is from ABC News. Hundreds of workers remain underground after shaft incident at South African gold mine, company says. Hundreds of workers remain underground at the Kloof, Kloof gold mine near Johannesburg after a shaft incident occurred at Sibanye Stillwater Subshaft, the South African-based mining company said on Friday. A lot of these mining operations in other countries are absolutely unsafe. As a matter of fact, there's some countries in Africa, I think the Congo, is arresting miners because basically people are just going to the mountain. They kind of figure out where there might be gold or platinum or whatever mineral they're after, and they just start mining, like literally digging holes in the mountain. They're not supervised, no regulation. They're just doing this shit in the boonies. And then the stuff collapses, it kills a bunch of people, and the government has to figure it out. So they've been arresting folks. It's very interesting. No further news on the political issue in South Sudan, and no other issues or nothing mentioned about the Congo. They have come up repeatedly in Africa, and I've said before, Sudan was offering airstrips and whatnot to Russia, and all of a sudden they break out in a civil war 3 weeks later. It's really weird. In any case, if I get any other news for those countries, I might make an update this week. East Asia Pacific, moving to another region. Australia, 3 dead in Australia after torrential rain ravages the rural towns. Flash flooding on Australia's southeast coast has killed 3 people and cut off towns, isolating tens of thousands of residents. As officials warned Thursday, more downpours are expected over the next 24 hours. If I'm right, and those of you who are Aussies, let me know. I think this is monsoon season for you guys, is it not? Because I think late spring US is kind of late fall Australia. I may be thinking of this wrong. Anyway, but it does speak to the fact if you are traveling to other parts of the world, remember, winter for us is summer in Argentina. So like Christmas here, when my friends in Pennsylvania and upstate, the Hudson Valley guys, and my Ohio friends, you all have snow on the ground. They're walking around in shorts and t-shirts on the beach. So understand the climate is different in different places if you're traveling. Something I have made mistakes and failed to do. And then you wind up buying clothes in a foreign country, which is always an experience. 2 stars, do not recommend. Anyway, moving on, China, 4 dead, 17 missing as heavy rain soaks southern China, triggering landslides. Oh, at least 4 people have died and 17 are missing after torrential rain triggers landslides in China's southwestern Guizhou province on Thursday, with the military deployed to assist rescue efforts. Again, know where you're going, be familiar. Typically, if you're a tourist, the tourist agency, if you're going through one, or the hotel, if you're staying at some of the more mainstream international hotels, the concierge can give you a lot of information. So don't hesitate. If you make reservations, you're going to visit and you don't know a lot, call the hotel, speak to the concierge or the manager, and ask for information. 9 out of 10 times, they're very helpful because you're paying to go to their hotel, and they also know you're paying at their bar and their restaurant, so they want you to be happy. So remember that. Anyway, moving on to Europe now. Russia, Ukraine. Russian hackers target Western firms shipping aid to Ukraine, U.S. intelligence says. This is from the Associated Press. Hackers working for Russian military intelligence targeted Western technology and logistics companies involved in shipping assistance to Ukraine. The U.S. National Security Agency said, I can tell you for a fact, early this morning, the platform known as X, formerly Twitter, Elon's platform, got knocked offline, along with several other social media companies. TikTok did not, but TikTok got dragged through the mud. Like, everyone was having problems uploading and posting. So you never know. They may be also hitting social media platforms to prevent information from getting out of the battlefield. So hard to say where it goes, but yeah, something to be aware of if you travel to countries that may have enemies, which is pretty much everyone now. Anyway, moving on. Sweden. Sweden lowers terrorist threat assessment back to levels before 2023 Koran burnings. This is according to Reuters. Sweden's SAPO security service lowered its national terrorist threat warning on Friday back to the, quote, elevated, unquote, status assessed before 2023, when it was raised in the wake of a spate of Koran burnings. So basically, the native folks of Sweden got upset and decided they were going to burn Korans in protest because of immigration, and so the security situation got worse. Turkey, moving on to Turkey. Erdogan, did I say it right? Erdogan denies bid to change Turkey's constitution means he'll run as president again. That sounds like a dictator in training. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, has denied he is trying to change the constitution so that he can stay on when his term ends in 3 years' time. Oh, so he's denying that he's trying to change the constitution. Interesting, though. We got to watch Turkey because that could be a major problem. Anyway, Middle East, North Africa, moving on. Israel, Lebanon. Israeli strikes in south of Lebanon. Army says Hezbollah fighter killed. This is from the Arab News. Lebanese state media said an Israeli airstrike hit a building in southern Lebanon on Thursday after Israel's military issued an evacuation call warning of imminent action against Hezbollah militants. Lebanon also, another one from Arab News again, Hezbollah seeks boost in Lebanon vote as disarmament calls grow. Amid the rubble left by Israeli bombardment of South Lebanon, campaign posters urge support for Hezbollah in elections on Saturday as the group aims to show it retains political clout despite the pounding it took in last year's war. So we shall see. Being able to kick Hezbollah out of Lebanon might be an excellent thing for that country. Sorry, I needed a drink there. Okay, moving on. South and Central Asia, India. Soldier killed during encounter with terrorists in J&K's Kishtwar province, the Times of India. A neighbor's son has a new sports car, kids going nuts. Times of India. A soldier was killed in an encounter with terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir's Kishtwar on Thursday. This is going to continue going on. There's some very old dislikes between these two countries. And I suspect, and this goes back even before British colonialism, and it's a religious thing between the Hindu, the Buddhist, and the Muslim. That's some old dislikes, some old hatred. So, but again, that India-Pakistan kind of makes me nervous because unlike, say, the U.S. and Russia, right? Russia has nukes, the U.S. has nukes, China has nukes. These are organized, coherent countries with controlled militaries for the most part. Having a communist or a dictator like Putin with a nuke scares me a lot less than Pakistan handing a suitcase nuke to someone to go blow something up in India, which is a very real possibility. And even worse, they give them two, but only one makes it to India. They take the other one and go drop it in London somewhere. That kind of worries me a hell of a lot more than a communist country, because I would think that'd be a little more rational, but you never know. In any case, moving on, Western Hemisphere, Argentina, dozens injured in pension protest outside Argentina's Congress. This is from Reuters. Dozens of people were injured during a protest outside Argentina's Congress on Wednesday, where activists and retired Argentines demanded higher pensions. Argentina has been struggling. When Milei took power, they had runaway inflation. He took some really serious steps, got the economy back, unemployment's down, inflation's down, which is great, but it resulted in a lot of budget cuts. And now that they got the economy settled, they're trying to figure out how to figure out the pensions, because the previous government just gave away money. And that's the socialism trap, is you run out of other people's money to spend. It's just basically what it is. A good nation should not be run amok capitalism. And this is just my opinion. Run amok capitalism where companies screw the workers and the people and they control the politicians. It should not be socialism or communism where the Politburo controls everything and you give everyone free everything, because at some point somebody needs to make something. And the two extremes are not good. A balanced society should have capitalistic growth and social programs. And there is a difference between a social program and socialism. And I said what I said, it's the truth. Having VA benefits or retirement benefits is vastly different than a basic wage for everyone, because all you've done is you need to address why there's inflation in the first place. That's cost of goods and supply chain and other shit and profitability. So anyway, not to go down another rabbit hole, but that's a complicated thing. And unfortunately, people are upset. So just mental note. Haiti, or my screen just went blank. Okay, there we go. Haiti, Organization of American States under pressure to help quell gang violence in Haiti. The Organization of American States came under pressure Thursday to help quash gang violence in Haiti as a UN-backed mission led by Kenyan police in the troubled Caribbean country struggles with a lack of funds and personnel. Haiti is an absolute shit show. If you recall, we sent our military to Haiti. God, was it 15 years ago? I'd have to look. And that's tough. It's a hot mess in the country, and the gangs have pretty much taken over. And what you have now is feudalism in Haiti. And that's a very good example of what can happen in a societal collapse if you don't have a regional government, or the communities themselves, the towns, the provinces, the counties, don't have a plan to deal with that. When the larger government fails, is you wind up with whoever's the most violent and powerful takes over an area. And they're not necessarily the most smart or necessarily the most beneficial. It's just whoever's freaking violent. And you wind up with basically hell on earth, which is what a lot of these folks are dealing with, which is very sad. I'm looking to see if there are any other alerts. Rising cyber threats. They have a report on Belgium cyber threats. Nothing specific that we can talk about. Libya, the militia clashes in Tripoli following al-Kiki's death. Libya's still trying to put themselves together. Nothing. Canada. In Chad, there is a security alert. There's the inauguration of the new prime minister, and they're afraid there may be protests, but no specific threats. Demonstration in Senegal. Let's see what else. Azerbaijan, increased caution. Theft, a lot of crime. Belgium. Terrorist threat in Belgium. That's interesting. It doesn't give any specifics. Watch Europe, guys. And that one came from the State Department. Switzerland, normal precautions, level 1. Liechtenstein, has dropped they had a terrorist threat and apparently arrested the guys, so that took care of that. And that's about it, folks. So folks, pay attention to what goes on in the world. Even if you don't travel yourself the way I used to, and I may have to again, depending on where the company sends me when I'm done with school, understand that what happens in other countries, because of the way the world has become, can and will affect us. So knowing whether you should react a certain way or even react at all. You know, Vanuatu has a riot. Well, I don't even know. I couldn't find it on a map right now. And I'm pretty good with that stuff. I don't even know where they are. I don't think it's going to affect me. India and Pakistan get into a nuclear exchange. Yeah, that's going to affect all of us. So understand the context of a lot of this information. Don't overreact, but ask yourself, how does this stuff become relevant to me? I've had a few of my viewers actually reach out because they or family members were traveling overseas. And they wanted a little bit of insight, and I was able to share some of this with them. And thanks for the request, by the way. And it's important that we do our homework and not freak out. And then ask, how do I use this information to make better decisions going forward? Remember, it's not a race, it's a journey. And we should all every day reassess, how am I doing things? Can I make tomorrow better than today? And is today going to be better than yesterday? That's the goal. That's why we do what we do. Anyway, folks, God bless, be good, be safe. I will see you in my next video. Take care of yourselves.